whether it's sexual deviance, whether it is not having to face down the long reach of the law, whether it's being able to say one thing and do another, or condemn a group of people for doing something one way and then turning around and doing it yourself. There is this is already happening, particularly in the United States of America, and it is sickening. So I think The Boys does a good job of painting a picture of reality. Now, whether or not that's something they intended to do or not, I can't speak to that, but that's what they did, and I appreciate it.
Amen. Amen to that. I appreciated it from quite a few different levels, different perspectives. Entertainment, distraction, and a little, I see what you're doing there kind of deal.
Exactly. All right, man. Well, let's transition into Bolton. As we all know, old Bolton, John Bolton, the walrus in chief, the war hawk, the war walrus, he was canned
Yes.
recently, and an interesting phenomenon is taking place now. Can you guess as to what it is I'm referring to?
I have a pretty good idea, but maybe I'll let you tell me.
Well, what's interesting is the liberal media, particularly your CNNs and your MSNBCs, what they're doing now is they're embracing Bolton as if he is some angel that was in the White House to prevent Trump from doing all the bad things that Trump really wants to do. Now, how ridiculous is that?
And now he is a victim of this administration's insane way of approaching policies.
Exactly.
He was unrightfully canned. Trump wanted to make an example out of him and bring him into work and have him on his phone call outside of the White House, and then later ceremoniously fire him. It was asinine. It's a yarn. It was completely spun.
It's unbelievable.
Where was the praise for John Bolton before his canning? What had he done that they were all about before this?
There wasn't anything, and the reason there wasn't anything is because he was working for the Trump administration at that point, and they couldn't possibly say anything but negative stuff about that. So now that he's no longer a member of the Trump White House team, lo and behold, here we have John Bolton being lionized by the Democrats, by the liberals, this absolute garbage human being being placed on a pedestal for no other reason than he got canned by Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, and it makes these people crazy, dude. They are nuts.
The enemy of your enemy is your friend, I guess.
Exactly, man. I don't really know if there's a whole lot to say about that, other than pointing out its hypocrisy, and it's absolutely ludicrous.
It's entertaining, it's predictable, it's silly, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Do you know anything about his replacement? I'm not very familiar with him.
I don't, other than I do know that he is a former hostage negotiator, so
Okay.
we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what that looks like down the road here.
Yeah, maybe I'll take a little dig in this week and see what I can come up with.
And according to certain folks, he's an Islamophobe.
Well, that aligns well with the current administration's policies.
Right, because they all are that, and Islamophobia is obviously this massive problem that we have here in this country.
Huge.
Right, it's widespread according to people like Ilhan Omar, who's currently, facing charges levied at her about marriage to her brother and affairs with people that are married, and it's just, that's a different story for another day. I'll do a little bit more on Ilhan Omar next time we sit down, because I think I think it's worth talking about. Dan Bongino does a great bit on her, and I'll look into some of the things that he's uncovered, because he definitely has it down pat, and it'd be interesting.
He's got his head to the grindstone, man. He's on it. He is a machine.
He really is. It makes you wonder how much of an insider is he really? How much of what he does is just more disinformation. But I will say this: he seems like a great dude. I listen to his show every day, and I would definitely recommend his show to anybody that's
And that's
interested.
the thing about disinformation is that we pretty much have to look at everything that is presented to us in that way.
Exactly.
Every story has an agenda. Every company that produces these stories, it's up the chain, and it all comes down from the top, and you want the specific angle. So, the sources where I got my information for this episode, that could be disinformation. Even if it's based in fact, it's all spun a certain way. Every outlet wants things to look a certain way. So you just have to use your common sense to sift through the BS and recognize what is true and what is false. Hey, on my word as a Biden, dude. Truth over facts.
Hey, on my word as a Biden, man. The last thing I will say about Ilhan Omar is Ilhan Omar. There is all kinds of evidence pointing to the fact that she could possibly have married her brother. There's photographic evidence. There's posts on social media. There's a lot of information out there. So I'll get some of that together. I'll revert back to the Dan Bongino show to see what he's got going on it, and then we'll talk about that next week.
Perfect.
Let's segue into the sports arena, brother, and talk a little bit about the NFL and what's going on there, and anything else you have that you want to bring to the table.
Welcome to the wide world of sports where you know what time it is.
Let's do it, man. NFL wise, I mean, Eli's out for this coming week. What do you think about that move?
I think it was the right move. I think it was the right move at the wrong time. They should have had that guy on the bench starting the season. It's not going to do anybody any favors to put Daniel Jones in after losing 2 games the way they lost those games. They should have put him at the beginning of the season. They drafted him 6th overall in 2019 NFL draft. They should have started him from the beginning, and it was a mistake to not do that. And we're witnessing the fallout from that mistake now with the benching of Eli Manning 2 weeks into the season. I mean, they didn't even give the guy a chance. Like, you can't 2 games and then you bench the guy.
It's not enough. I mean, I guess at the end of the day, no matter what happens with Eli, he is the reason that the Patriots don't have, or Tom Brady doesn't have 8 rings.
This is true. You're right,
Am
man.
I right?
You're right.
Am I right?
You're right.
Yeah.
Eli Manning, 2 Super Bowls, beat the Patriots twice?
I think twice.
Yeah,
I think it was
dude.
twice.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
There's also major injuries in sports last week. We saw Drew Brees go down. We saw Big Ben go down.
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
I was happy to see that fat bastard go. He bothers me, man. The only face that I dislike more than Antonio Brown's is Ben Roethlisberger's.
Big Ben's face, it definitely bothers me too. You can't really look past the fact that there is strong evidence that he is a sexual assaulter. I do want to stay. I got to caveat that by saying that's kind of public town square stuff territory, right?
It is.
It really is.
But he did make settlements outside of court to people. And now that could be just because he wanted to avoid the flack. But he did do that. And I feel that if you are innocent of something, you do not do that.
Well, what if... So I can appreciate that, but what if everyone on your team, your agent, your whoever else you're working with, what if every one of those people says it's gonna be easier and this will go away quicker if you just pay them some money? What do you think about that? Do you think that that's?
I've never been in a position like that. I've never had an agent. I've never had money mean so little to me in my life. So that is a very fair point. And I guess we're just left with our feelings, our gut instincts about old Big Ben. It could be his face. It could be his performance on the field. But I do know that if Antonio Brown had Ben Roethlisberger's face, that would be my least favorite person that was ever created. I don't even I don't even know if I can deal with
Dude,
it.
oh my God. Yeah, guy, I don't even want to think about that. So we do have those injuries. I think that's going to affect. Oh, I know it's going to affect those teams respectively, pretty drastically. Um,
It will.
you got
It will.
Jalen Ramsey, cornerback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, requesting a trade. Who knows where he's going to go?
He wants
He wants
out.
out, man. He wants out.
You know, and
He wants to be Deion freaking Sanders, brother. He wants to go.
he does. He doesn't want to work for it. He wants to go to a good team. He wants to go to a
He
good
wants to go
team.
to Kansas City where he's going to be in the Super Bowl, or go somewhere that he can be guaranteed to play however he wants to play. It's just it's this entitled thing that bothers me about these guys, man. You know, I
Yeah.
love
It's a trend
it
too.
is.
It's a trend.
I love the game of football.
Yeah.
I like sports. You know, we grew up playing sports. It was part of our lives growing up. I appreciate them. I think they're good for the world. I think they're good for human beings overall. But when you start getting into the realm of contract negotiation and the squabbling that goes on there, and these guys, you know, showing up to training camp in a Brinks truck. I mean, what is that? That's just wrong, man.
What happened? What happened now?
Jalen Ramsey showed up to training camp one year. I forget if it was last year. He showed up to training camp driving a Brinks truck.
Now, just as a power move, as a funny thing.
Yeah, just as a power move, you know, like pay me or I'm you know, this
Gotcha.
is how much I'm
Yeah.
worth or whatever. You know,
Okay.
but
Fill the truck up, kind of thing.
exactly, fill up the Brinks truck.
Oh my god,
You know, so either way,
this freaking guy.
you know, one of the shows that I listen to called Speak for Yourself. It's a Fox Sports podcast. And these guys do a really good job of putting things into perspective when it comes to that aspect of professional sports. You know, they're all former, I think all but one former NFL players. And what's really interesting about these guys is they're all black, and they have a lot to say about the folks out there like Colin Kaepernick and what that's doing to the NFL and things like that. So it's interesting. I'd suggest anybody who wants a different perspective on the world of sports to check out Speak for Yourself. It's by Whitlock and Wiley. And
now, are these guys that are talking in this show? Are they? What's the right word?
I know what you're trying to say, man. They fall into the side of. Let's just use the Colin Kaepernick thing for an example. They fall into the side of that guy is a sideshow, and it's detrimental. It's detrimental. Keep that stuff out of the NFL. That's entertainment. I don't want to watch that. I want to watch football. Give me some good football. I'll be a happy guy. I don't need any of that extra stuff. Do that on your own time. Go protest at the White House. Be an American. That's great. Love it.
It's a break. The NFL is a break from. I mean, everything else, every other aspect of our lives. It's so hard to escape this type of thing of overall feeling and tension. So it's an escape from that, a distraction, if you will.
Right, and you know, sporting events have always been that. It's been a distraction from the brutality of life. Think about baseball back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, when people were just dirt poor and had no amenities, and baseball was their way to congregate, their way to enjoy themselves. Baseball, if you've ever watched Ken Burns' baseball, history of baseball, man, it is unbelievable. It's and Ken Burns, you know, that guy is. I'm not a fan of his politics, and I'm not a fan of his movies in regards to war history and all that. But the baseball one, you know, that's kind of apolitical, and it really is a fantastic journey through baseball over time, and as a spectacle, that's been going on for eons, and what it is a distraction from real life, and that's okay. It's okay to have distractions as long as when you're done being distracted, you can hone back in on what's really important, and that's why I firmly believe that you need to keep that protesting stuff out of professional sports. Put it in where it actually belongs, which is in real life, which is in front of the White House, which is, if you want to have your own Instagram handle where all you do is protest police brutality, then please do that.
By all
man.
means, do it. By all means.
Keep it out of the NFL, though. Keep it out of professional sports. I don't want to see it. It is disrespectful to certain individuals.
And you will lose. Sorry, go ahead. Particularly,
it's disrespectful to individuals, particularly individuals who place a high level of importance in the American flag. And there's people out there that do.
There are. And
so don't be
that's
a dick.
A good thing as well. Don't be a dick. And
yeah.
Everybody wants people to be respectful and aware of everyone in the room, be that the stadium, the court, what have you. So I feel like that also needs to be said to the people that do things like that are making a statement when it comes to the American flag. I mean, there's some people that are going to be very offended by that.
Totally. We associate America or the United States of America with this horrible behemoth of a government we have, but that's not what it is. And we keep going back to this. The United States is an idea. It's an experiment, and it was founded for the right reasons. And we need to maintain that. And the American flag, that's what it represents to me. It doesn't represent the U.S. government. Screw that.
Not at all.
Screw the government.
It represents me.
Yeah. Like, I didn't join the Marine Corps to fight for my government. I did that to be of service to the people that live in this country. It had nothing to do with the government or anything remotely close to that. So and that's what people need to consider when they are stamping on the flag or burning the flag or just being disrespectful
carrying on
in general.
Ignorantly. It's just think about what you're doing. Think about what you say before it comes out of your mouth.
Just be a good person. Be a good person.
Be decent.
That's all we need, man.
You know what? You could make a podcast and rant and rave about it.
You really
That's
could.
a good platform.
There you go.
It's a great platform. And then the people that want to listen to you can go and listen to you, and the people that don't, they don't have to.
Exactly.
Simple as that.
All right, man. Well, for now, let's put it on the shelf. Save it for next time. It's been a great couple hours, brother, and I appreciate and love you to death, man, and I'll see you next week.
Sounds great, man. It was an absolute pleasure. A great 2 hours. I look forward to this all week. And I love you, dude, and I'll see you next week.
All right, brother. Peace.